Everyone, this is June 11, paper 21, number 7. Two light identical spheres, A and B, are suspended alongside each other on a thin nylon thread, as shown in figure 7.1. A is given a positive charge and B is given a negative charge, and here a positive charge. On figure 7.1, draw the threads and the sphere that might look like after the sphere has been charged. So what will happen is that they will be attracted to each other like this, and that's how we will draw it, just touching each other. They are touching each other since there is a force now between them. This is a negative charge, or this is the A, this is the B. Okay, this is one thing. Second thing, B, a cleaner attempting to remove the dust from the plastic covered furniture using a dry cloth. Unfortunately, this seemed to make the dust cling more firmly to the plastic covering. So just why this happens. So let's go to the explanation. You already know, before friction, we had the two insulators. They will be having neutral charges. Why neutral charges? And why the charge will be neutral? Because the positive will be equal to the negative inside the piece of cloth. And here, for example, this is the plastic. As you can see, it started as a neutral positive equal to that. And then after friction or rubbing between them, the cleaner now is using the cloth and is moving the cloth or friction, making a friction or a rubbing with the plastic. So what will happen is that the electrons will start to move from one substance to another, or from the piece of cloth to the plastic, or vice versa. So what will happen at last is that one item will be positively charged and the other one will be negatively charged, which means there will be a transfer of electrons at this step. So what will happen actually in our example is that the charge, the plastic now will be charged, and so it will attract the dust. Now returning back to our question, suggest why this happened, why the dust clings more firmly to the plastic covering. We could say that it will be when the friction occurs between the plastic and the dry piece of cloth. What happens is that the electron transfer will occur, and that's what we just saw, that yes, the electron transfer will be transferred from the piece of cloth, for example, to the plastic. Plastic will become charged, and so will attract the dust. That's the explanation for the above part. So just why this would be less likely to happen if a cleaner used a cloth which is very slightly damp. Or damp means that the damping or the water is a good conductor. So let's see what will happen. Here we shall talk about the idea of earthing, the earthing wire, and what's the importance of earthing, and then we will apply this on the cleaner hand. So here, after we finish the rubbing, the outcome will be a positively charged piece of cloth and a negatively charged plastic. So what will happen is that if we applied, or if we connected an earth wire, what will happen? The earthing or the earth wire is always the main job of the earthing wire is to return to the substance its neutrality. So it should return it back to become like this again, to return it to its neutrality by doing one thing, whether transferring electrons. So electrons will travel from the earth towards the substance, like for example here, when there is a lot of positive charges, so it needs electrons in order to balance itself. So it will transfer electron from the earth towards the substance, or if it's a negatively charged, so it will take the electron from the substance towards the earth. And with that, the positive charges found inside this substance will become equal to the negative charge, and it will return back its neutrality. What happens actually in our example is that the cleaner was using this piece of cloth. For example, if this is a positively charged, so it was using this piece of cloth. So as if, and because our body is a good conductor, so what will happen is that the electron will transfer through the cleaner's body and then towards the piece of cloth. This is if the piece of cloth was positively charged. Another thing, what if it was holding a negatively charged. So what will happen is that the negative charge will pass through her body. Let's say that this is the cleaner body now. It will act as if it's a earth wire. The cleaner is holding this piece, or it's holding this piece of cloth, and then the charge will pass through her body towards the earth. And that's what will happen. So now the plastic will not be charged anymore. So what will happen to the dust? The dust will be removed easily. How we can do this? We can write this in the equation. So here we could say that in the suggestion, we could say that the damp cloth is, or the water itself is a good conductor. So the charges from the plastic and the piece of cloth will pass through the cleaner hands toward the earth. Why? Because now the body of the cleaner acted as if it's an earth wire, so it will keep the balance of the charges, so the plastic will not attract the dust anymore.